Welcome everyone to another episode of the Warmup. I'm here with the guys. It is me, gentleman Chris. We got Mr. Anwan. Is he still there? Is he still? Oh,
Yep.
Mr. Anwan is still in the building again. Mr. 3P at this point. And we got Kev RL. Say what's up to people who are tuned in to us today, man. Say what's going on to the fellas and the ladies.
And to y'all that still have teams in the playoffs, welcome to the winner's circle. Right now, it's just me and Kevin. They're standing by our lonesome because Chris' team just
Was injured. We got injured by a guy who lifted the leg and got a bone bruise. Start playing. Kind of like a Zaza, but go for it.
We injured.
No, that's not good.
Nah,
That's not good.
no,
That's a
no,
whole discussion, yo. That's a
Yeah.
whole discussion.
You know,
Bruise? From
bone
a pull?
bruise. Hey.
From a pull. Let's
Hey.
just keep it moving.
Hey.
We all know what a bruise is. We all know what a bruise is.
Yeah,
It's something
it
that
is.
requires contact.
Blunt
Impact.
trauma, yes, and maybe maybe that was the enough of the blunt trauma of pulling the leg. You know what? Let's not get into it. Let's not get
So
into
you
Let's
say
not
he
get
pulled
into
his hands like RoboCop, man? He was able to do that. Come
Hey,
on.
I'm just saying. I ain't saying
Wow.
I personally had that happen to me. I'm just saying. I don't know. I just said I was also say this. He didn't have a bone bruise in game 4, and then he had a bone bruise by the end of game 4.
True.
So
Facts.
I don't think his teammates did it. So, I don't think Zaza was in the building either. So it must have been someone on the court.
I don't know how you talking about bringing up Zaza in this,
It-
man. Like that's wow.
So, well, you started it. You was trying to make it seem like we were fairly put out. We were put out, but
You were fairly put up. It was-
Yeah, you were fairly put out.
it was some unforeseen circumstances.
Best out of
So go
7 series, man.
Yeah.
I don't know
Go for it.
what else
to
you
quote,
can talk about.
to quote JJ Redick, every series is gonna have a little asterisk next to it. There's always something that's gonna happen. So let's keep it moving.
I agree. Like the first championship that the Warriors had in the 2000s. But anyways,
Wow.
let's
Still in
go.
the record
ahead.
books.
Let's
Still
go
in the
ahead.
books.
It is.
No
It is.
asterisk next to that.
It is. So only people who remember have to keep letting people know. So anyways,
I'm glad you solidified your warrior hater status, bro. Like,
No, right?
I'm not.
He claimed he doesn't.
I'm not a hater of the
yeah,
Warriors.
he
I'm not a hater
claims
of
he
the
doesn't.
Warriors
He
at all.
claims he's cool with them.
I like
Yeah, I
Steph
forgot.
Curry. Steph
You said
Curry's a
Klay
nice
is
guy.
cool.
Steph Curry's a nice guy. Klay Thompson. Hey, I like Klay. You know what I'm saying? He has a cool demeanor. You know what I'm
Nice
saying?
guy.
So
What
game.
about
I
the team?
like.
What about the team?
I like
What
Game
about
6
the
of Klay.
team?
I like it. The team. Draymond Green is.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the team.
Yeah, and I mentioned the people who are
He
good.
pulling out things.
Draymond Green
Oh,
is. Draymond Green
It's a
is very
nice guy.
effective
Like,
guy.
he sits down and has a drink with these cats, man. Like, he invites them over to dinner and he eats pasta with them. That's what he's trying to say. I don't understand it.
Looney
you
is
saying?
my guy. Looney is like, Looney is a borderline star at this point. So let's
Iggy, don't forget Iggy now.
who?
That's your man's too.
Never,
Yeah, I forgot.
never, and ever will I ever acknowledge Iggy.
He's out right now, but
Yeah, he's out. He's old. LeBron wore him down.
He's
So
coaching.
anyways-
He's coaching from the sideline, man.
okay, all right. Can we finish up with the intro? It's 3 minutes in. Y'all want to be out, right?
what's up,
Hey,
Fatty?
do
Let's
your
go.
thing, man.
You see how we get derailed so easily, man, by Kurt. So anyways, if this is your first time listening to us, this is a place where we talk about sports, current events, and everything else in between through the lens of Black culture. We're here every Tuesday, so please tune in, check for us. Go ahead and subscribe if you're on the YouTube side. Hit the notification bell so you can get the notifications when we do drop, and also some ancillary things, some YouTube clips and things like that. And if you're on the audio side, or whoever's your pusher, feel free to follow us, like us, give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. All that stuff is just gonna help more people see us, for us to get bigger. So help us help you, man. You know what I'm saying? If you're getting entertained, then give us some reasons to continue to do what we do and make you laugh.
Give me a Kev a reason to keep Chris around.
Hey man, your contract's almost up, so
I mean, I was gonna say, yeah, he brought us to the table.
I was gonna say your contract's almost up. I may have to review this,
You don't even
man.
have a contract, man.
Let me-
You don't
let
even
me-
have a contract.
Hey, the gentleman brought us to the table now.
Thank you, Kev. Kev is the respectful Warriors fan. You one of them newborn fans that be just out here like Draymond's the best player of all time. anyways,
Best defensive player, man.
Best
defensive player.
Instagram.
That's what he said.
Okay. Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, Grindhouse NTWK. Please check us out, follow us, and again, engage with us. Like what you see, tell a friend, or all those things. And also, finally, Discord. We do have a community where you can come through. Saying do your trash talk like this, as you see, Mr. And1 is still doing. Sometimes he does it in the Discord. I had to mute him though. So, anyways, again, it's Tuesdays, guys. So, anything else you guys want to add before we jump in?
Jump in.
Cool.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, let's talk about the guy who's been making the most noise and ain't playing in the playoffs. And I don't even think he's a star, let alone an all-star. I don't know what this guy's doing, but you know what? He opened his mouth, and guess what? People is listening. Pat Bev has gone through the ESPN circuit and just started talking, letting people know how he feels. And one thing that came out of this has been his affinity, or disposition rather, of Chris Paul, the point guard, the guy that everyone likes because he's accomplished everything but a ring. And had his hot takes ready, and he went and said that nobody, like CP3, can't guard nobody. He is considered, and I quote, a cone. And you know what cones are, right? You dribble past a cone like a drill, and you have to move them for them to play defense. So obviously this took Twitterverse by storm. Everyone has started to chime in, including the likes of Damian Lillard, Danny Green, and I mean anyone who had time has went ahead and said how disrespectful this was. So Beverley is doubling down though. He's saying that he's just saying what everyone already knows. So let's just go ahead and kick it off with N1 right now. Is Beverley out of line with his comments, or is he just speaking what everyone else is already thinking?
Bev is about as out of line as that 3-point shot he tries to take during games, man. Hey, listen, let me go into this first. I love Pat Bev's story from where he started from to the NBA. Tremendous story, right? I feel like Pat Bev is at the tail end of his career, and he's trying to carve a niche out in ESPN, right? Is he going to be a JJ? Nah, JJ's cerebral. He's on point with his stats. Is he going to be a Stephen A? Nah, that's the maestro. Kendrick?
Hey, he's good.
We don't know.
He's good. He's good. I like him. Carry on.
All right, but going back to this thing, now let's just talk about stats, man, because Pat Bev used adjectives, right? He compared Chris Paul to a cone. Now, Chris Paul is maybe 6 feet, and he's like 37, still keeping up and dogging cats half his age, right? Here's a stat for you. Everybody's familiar with like the defensive rating the NBA has, right?
Sure.
It's pretty much for the fans that don't know. It shows it's an individual player stat, it could be a team stat, and it shows how many points a player allows within 100 possessions, right? So the average for point guards in 2022, this season right here, 113.4. So in 100 possessions, the average point guard in the NBA allows 113 points per 100 possessions. So if that's the average, that's our standard, right? Chris, you love those standards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is Chris Paul above or below that?
I would assume above, but I don't know, man. Pat Bev got some.
He's above, man.
He must be below. He gotta be below.
Well, below is good because that means you allow less points per 100 possessions.
Below.
Okay.
You gotta be.
Relative. You gotta tell me which way is positive. Which way is...
So more points per 100 possessions is bad.
Okay.
That means everybody's just blaming you, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So 113 is the average. Chris Paul for his career, 105, bruh. 105. 113 is the average. Paul, 105.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing about these years that he has an annual injury. It's kind of like taxes, bruh.
Hey man, he's fragile, man.
Death, taxes, and Chris Paul injury. Hey, listen, taxes and Paul's injury is happening, and your birthday and anniversaries happening once a year. So take into account his injury, take into account his advanced age, as far as the NBA is concerned, I think that's a really good statistic, man. And everyone lauds Paul on how good he is defensively. And if you want another stat, NBA 2K used to have Paul ranked in the upper 80s as far as defensive ability. Those cats know what they're doing. So we got the stats. We have the NBA 2K cats saying something else. We have people who analyze his career and say something else. And then you got Pat Bev.
Cool. So what you're trying to say is he's on an island. What you trying to say?
An island, man. You know, Pat Bev is on the planet Pluto. And remember, Pluto ain't the planet no more. So that's what Pat Bev is, man.
Okay. All right. Kev, are you agreeing with Mr. And1, or are you going a different route and giving some different perspective on this?
Not agreeing with Pat Bev, that's for sure. I'm going to go, just to give a slightly different perspective, I'm going to say he's not on the island. Why would I say that? Because he claims, everybody knows this. They talk about this like that's the case. So I'm not going to sit up here and call Pat a liar, no. He may have some things confused, but he should know if people are talking about Chris or not talking about Chris, and whether or not that's true or not true. So unless he's a straight up liar, then I have to say he has some circle of friends or some circle of people within the NBA that have this particular view of Chris Paul. Do I agree with it?
Who, Blake Griffin? He asking Blake Griffin?
He asking. I don't know who he's speaking to, who he's talking about. I don't know.
James Harden?
I don't know. I love to try to see other people's perspective. You know, like maybe he's considering who Chris Paul is guarding, maybe who he's not guarding. I don't know. But I watched Chris Paul most of all his career actually, and I've never looked at him and say that's a weak defender. That's never been the thing that come to mind. In fact, I've always thought, man, you a solid defender for such a small dude. So this caught me by surprise that somebody would say what he was saying. But then he went into the whole, you know, the NBA is a club at the same time. So there's only some things that will come out and some things that won't. He made a mention that Stephen A mentioned that, hey, he never heard that. He never heard anything like that. He was like, well, you know, players lie. Players don't tell you everything. Mm-hmm. And Stephen A did acknowledge that they do. That happens. Of course. That happens.
Of course.
So I don't know what island he's on, but it's a small one. We're not many inhabitants. But
Kevin, your take on it, man. I feel like it's a season of dry snitching. First Nick Saban and now Pat Bev, if that's true.
Wow.
He said no one's worried about CP3, or at least did he say about CP3 or the Suns? I think he said it about the Suns in general. Nobody worried about them really when they have to play them. And I think he made some definitive points to CP3 and Booker being a part of that element where we're not worried about them. And I can't deny how the inner circle will react to each other. And that's their feeling, that's his feelings, and so be it. But Chris Paul passed my eye test as a good defensive player.
Facts.
Gotcha. So I'm just looking at some stuff right now, man. Not to be the guy who playing devil's advocate, but what you said, 113 is the average, right?
113 is the average for an NBA point guard. 113.4.
So, you know, maybe historically, you know, Pat Bev has been historically a guy who had to work his way up and do all the grunt work.
Yeah.
And he still kind of keeps that edge, and you know, tries to play with that fire that got him there. And you know, he's not really an all-star, like I said. You know, he barely really got defensive anything at any point in time as an award. So I mean, you know, he's a poor man's NBA player. Like if there was a bunch of tiers, you know, going from superstar to end of the bench, he's somewhere between, like, you know, role player and starter, like edge, starter, regular role player, right? So But I, how old is he? How old are you, Pat Bev? Let me see if I can find it. He is. Where is your age?
And while you're looking at it, I got another fact for you. Chris Paul has been on 9 all defensive teams.
Oh, yeah.
9 all NBA defensive teams.
Yeah.
Fans don't vote that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. So he's 33 years old right now, which, okay, he's 5 years younger than 4 to 5 years younger than Chris Paul. So, I'm looking at his defensive rating. Yeah, Chris Paul right now for 2022 season is 105, and Pat Bev is slightly higher, 109, like 110. You just say 110, right? So Pat Bev is closer to the average. Chris Paul's lower, further away from the average. And then also, but they also have a head-to-head, right? So, head-to-head, Chris Paul defensive rating is 132 head-to-head, whereas Pat Bev is 109. I don't know how this. I don't know why. How this is the 2022 season, just this season. So
okay, it's against the teams.
Against each other, like what? Like I don't.
It has to be against the teams.
Team. Right?
So
yeah,
Minnesota can score. They can't play D. That's why they got out. But you're talking about Anthony Edwards. You're talking about Cat. You're talking about
D. Russell.
If he gets hot. Yeah. So
yeah, they can't put up points. They're a very potent team, if you will, like mostly athleticism, kind of like the Houston Rockets. They're mostly offense. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's looking at. Maybe this is where it's founded upon. Maybe it's the eye test. We've talked about the eye test. So
the people he's talking to is Anthony and Cat.
And so maybe Ant was like, "Hey man, the guy is slow on his feet. I can get around him any time of the day." D'Lo is just like, "Who is this Chris Paul?" Maybe this is locker room talk. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
I wouldn't say this aloud. I wouldn't say this knowing that people can hear me and like gonna take exception because I gotta play with them next year. It's kind of like going into the office and saying something about a coworker or a manager, and you gotta see them every day for the rest of the calendar year. Like this is just not gonna.
Pat, the one thing about Pat Bev, he doesn't back away from a fight. We know that. He doesn't back away.
That's fine. That's fine. But guess what? This is a fraternity, and just as easily as they accept you, they can always also kick you out.
True.
These are contracts, right? Ain't no W4, W2 forms. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like people will take exception to this. I think. I don't know. I don't think he's. I think he's out of line to answer the question. I'm just trying to figure out where it's coming from, and I think it's because he sees the love that Chris Paul gets. I mean, it could be some jealousy there. It could be. Him
and Paul have bad blood. There was when Pat was with Houston and Chris was with the Clippers. There was bad blood there, and I think they traded him. I think when they traded Bev, that's when Chris came to Houston. And Bev went to the Clippers.
Yeah, probably because Clippers. So I don't know if you remember the infamous push in the back as the Clippers were getting whooped by the Phoenix Suns last year. He pushed Chris Paul in the back.
Yeah.
So he probably said something slick. We don't know, but like I said, there's this and Pat Bev mentioned that it was something that dated all the way back to the basketball camp when they were in high school. Like this is way. I mean, he's holding a grudge. Like, So. But like I said, the things that he did say, I think were true. Which was that Chris Paul does just as many dirty things as Pat Bev. Pat Bev is just more. He's not as discreet about it. Like Chris Paul I've seen Chris Paul do some dirty things from Wake Forest all the way to. I haven't seen it lately, but definitely with the Clippers, I would see some dirty stuff. So, it's not like he's a clean player, and I think that's kind of where I stopped being so much of a fan of his. It's like, okay, you don't have to be 30 because you're that good of a player skill wise. So, he was saying that, like, yeah, because Chris Paul is favored and everyone likes him, he kind of gets away with some of that stuff. So he was kind of going on into some of the deeper thinking that he had, but at the end of the day, it's out of line. Yeah, dude, you just really don't want that smoke, because now you gotta see him next year. Like, if you on the team, you gotta see him next year. So when they do get the calendar, to get the schedule, they're gonna circle Minnesota. And
he ready for it.
Yeah, he gonna wake up. He gonna go to bed early. He gonna take all of his vitamins. He's gonna make sure he's not injured that day. He gonna do all that
he's
stuff.
gonna be ready.
So yeah, he's standing down. He's not standing down. That's for sure.
Yeah,
he can stand behind his words.
Yeah. So sometimes, man, when you ask for that smoke, man, sometimes you get it. And honestly, it wasn't just that. He was also clapping back at Danny Green. He was clapping back at Dame, saying, like, we have the same kind of we have the same number of championship rings, but you're supposed to be an all-star. Stuff like that.
He said that?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So,
wow, what is Pat? Dude, all championship ring and all-star are not correlated.
True.
Oh.
But Pat Pat Bev got time, man. So another thing that he
does have time.
Yeah, I mean, he is on the island right now. He's in Cancun. He's probably on his way back. But I do actually have another question, man. This is unrelated, but Pat Bev still said it. James Harden deserves a supermax. Came out of his mouth. Y'all agree or disagree?
That's his boy.
That's a disagree right there. I mean, even down to the age factor, like when I listen to it, like, man, I even forgot about the fact that he's even old. And financially, it may not be the best move, but not without even considering the fact that he's not who he used to be.
Yeah.
I do agree with some of the things that Pat Bev said, with respect to, does he need to be who he used to be, or does he need to be what the team requires? Yeah. So I agree with that statement, that he doesn't necessarily need to be vintage Harden, but he needs to be what the team requires. Yeah. And he's supposed to be that co-star, that Robin, if you will. And that didn't happen this playoff series. So
no,
I was supposed to be there to pick up some of the slack, and that didn't happen. Let's be honest about it and keep it moving. Let's not make up stories and reach in the pocket for all kind of reasons to give this dude more money. At the end of the day, results oriented. You gotta get paid for your results, and he's showing the results for Supermax right now.
Harden is he's like the most famous one-trick pony out there, right? So think about it. In Houston, that's when he rose to his zenith. The offense revolved around him. And what was that offense? Harden, we're gonna pass you the ball. You're gonna dribble the air out of this baby. Dribble the air out of this baby. And when it's on his last little ounce of oxygen inside of there, hoist it. If they W, pass it to us. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna hold on to that baby until they're not W. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pass it back to you, right? And there's been different stats and different things like that. Harden is best shooting once he does a little shake and bake. He cooks with it, and then he can shoot off the dribble, right? In the rhythm. He's a very rhythmic shooter. Because when he got to the Nets and with 76ers, those standing threes, he's not that good at. He didn't have to do that in Houston. Because once he touches the rock, the whole team, the opposite team, descends upon him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with that, man, his shortcomings were like exposed more so this season than ever before. Because he has to play off of Embiid. He's never really had to play off of somebody, right? Even with the Nets, when they went to the playoffs, Kyrie wasn't there. And Durant's used to my turn, your turn, except for his Warriors tenure, right? So with Philly, you got to play a team concept, which you got a big. He's never had a big to play off of. And we see him suffer. We've seen teams get smart to his gimmick, and we've seen the NBA take away his best thing. Harden's skill was free throws. Not shooting free throws, but getting to the line. That's what he was good at, man. Like, I don't even know if NBA 2K had that stat, like free throw line arrival. If that was it, he's past 100% before the rule change. And I'm looking at his stats on paper, it doesn't look that bad. His numbers didn't drop off too much, but in the playoffs, it's a different story, man. Because teams they can focus in on that. He's not getting those fouls. He's not even driving past cats the way he used to, man. So as far as a max,
It's true.
speaking of Maxey outplayed him.
I mean,
So who should get the other max?
yeah,
You
you're
can't
right.
give it to Maxey, but
You know what? You're right. I mean, I'm not gonna argue that. He's Pat Bev is out of line for even suggesting that James Harden should get the max, super max, for
Super max.
what? Getting overweight, demanding a trade, getting to a new team, not liking that team because pulled a hamstring because he was out of shape. Tried to play, cool, honorable. Won another trade because now I gotta sit here. I didn't ask for this. What you mean you didn't ask for? You didn't ask to be a pillar? Like, okay, one of your pillars is down, you pick up the slack. Kevin Durant's not complaining. If Kevin Durant's not complaining, you can't complain. Anyways,
Right.
wants another trade. Goes to Philadelphia. Goes in, and was it the second half of the elimination game where he only had one shot attempt?
Yeah.
What am I paying you for? What am I paying you for?
Can't depend on them in the playoffs.
If you're such a superstar, if you deserve a supermax, and you don't play defense, you don't get rebounds.
You talking about a cone? That's a cone.
Exactly right.
Bev was talking about Harden. He got confused.
He must have had his cue cards mixed up. So, but I'm just like, the only thing you do exceptionally well is scoring. If you're not scoring exceptionally well, then you don't deserve any of the accolades that put you in the tier of superstar. I heard you kicked him out. There's a vacancy for superstar in the superstar tier. So, it's not him. No one's coming to see James Harden no more. So don't pay him.
No.
Pat Bev is a horrible GM, also apparently. So
Not as bad as LeBron.
Hey, he did say if LeBron called to sign up, he would join in a heartbeat. So
Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't?
Kyrie.
Kyrie's a different type of cat, man. He's a different animal.
yeah.
So yeah. Anything else, Ken? You said you had something? Oh,
No. I was just looking at his assist there. I was like, well, he can pass the ball a little bit. He knows to set people up when he gets going.
He can.
He had a couple of seasons where he really turned it up on his facilitating.
Yeah.
I see. It can't be. Okay, I hear you on that, but I was looking at these Philly games in the playoffs, man. I feel like the NBA is the muscle memory, right? Harden was an offensive beast. I mean, for like 3 years running, I think he was like one of the best offensive players ever. So cats remember that. So when Harden has a ball, I've seen in the games, people still respected his shot. He instantly got double. That's how Max was able to get free. So his passes, it's not like Paul or Curry getting into the lane and passing. I didn't see that. I saw him at the top of the key. He'll see somebody and he'll pass it to them. Or one of his ill-fated rumbles into the lane where he can't, because he doesn't jump anymore. He'll put the ball up and he sees it's not going anywhere, he'll bail out and hopefully somebody's there. They in the playoffs, I can't speak for the season, but in the playoffs he's getting them, but
I have nothing to say for that, man. I can't argue that. Like, I have nothing to say to lift Harden up during these playoffs. It was not. He didn't give me any material to work with, man. So you got it.
Yeah, unfortunately he didn't, man. It was. I know a lot of people hated him in Houston, but it was fun to watch him do that step back three, man.
It worked. It worked.
Yep, it did.
So, all right, man. Let's move on with Pat Bev. Get some help. We can move on to more pertinent things: the Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals. We'll start with the West because it's easier to go ahead and dissect. Golden State 3-0. I don't know what Mavs are doing. Shoot a bunch of threes, missing half of them. Luka's trying his best. That's probably the quickest way I could go ahead and dissect this. Over or under, man. Do you guys take over or under with the Mavs getting 1.5 games? Kev. Taking over or under? Under. Okay, gentlemen speak for worse. All right, Mr. N1, what you got?
The line is 1.5.
Yeah, the line's 1.5. I mean, it's not official. I made this up, but you know.
Right. I know. That's what I'm asking. Under. When I first heard it, I thought you were saying like one game, but you said the 0.5. Under.
The over would be 2 games, so you know.
Yeah.
At a good spot.
I would say 1, but 2.
No way.
You don't need to get 2.
No.
Why not? Talk to me. What's going on? Why you feel that way?
All right, so I think the way the Warriors are playing, man, they have so many bodies to throw at Luka, right? Phoenix had the same thing, but Phoenix is a light team, right? Mikal Bridges, I'm not going to take anything away from this man's defensive abilities, but Luka was out there just slinging him around like a rag doll, man. Luka's a big man. He's a big boy. It's a big boy's game. Also, Phoenix chose to play him one-on-one and only started doubling him in the second half of Game 7. That's on Monty. When he got to the Warriors, look, two-way Wiggs is checking him. Time he gets the ball, inbounding, right? And we're not scared to either double him or shoulder double to make him hesitate and think. Luka's already he plays at his pace, a slow tempo. Most teams try to speed him up. Kerr said, no, we're going to slow him down even more. So working on him, so he's working up against Wiggs, full court pressure, that slows you up, man. Somebody's checking you full court, you know, it's going to slow you up a minute, right? And then if you're getting into the paint, people doubling you or people doubling at the top of the key, it makes you think. So I think that's the biggest difference, man. Just the game plan. So you got to tip your hat back to Kerr. So
or Mike Brown. He's the defensive coach. I'm just saying.
I'm just thinking about that Memphis series.
Shout out to Mike Brown. Shout out to Sacramento, man. That's a great pickup.
Shout out to Sac, man. Yeah, man. Mavs aren't coming back from it. They just don't have enough firepower, bro. The Warriors were like cool with letting Brunson shoot threes because he doesn't do that during the season, and that's the biggest difference. And they don't have a counter. Who's going to help pick up the slack?
All right, can they get one?
Yeah, I think they can get one. It's hard to close out the team.
Yeah, they could get one.
Okay.
I'm not feeling it though, but they could get one.
But what's the next game at?
It's in Dallas. It's in Dallas. But the blood is in the water right now. Like
it is.
I mean, if I'm Warriors, I'm not playing with next game. I am not playing with next game.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they are. I think these guys are fully engaged right now, and their mindset is the championships. That's it. Like that's it. The obstacle is the way right now, and these guys are gonna get put to bed. Like Curry does. Like sleepy time. If they get one, they got one. Okay, but that's it. And I don't think that one is even coming. So I'm actually looking for a sweep.
Kev, you know what's crazy? When we won game 2, and we're going back to Dallas. I was expecting, as everybody says, role players always play good at home. But now that I think about it, Bullock, did he score?
Bullock? Yeah.
No. Yeah.
2 points.
No.
He was knocking down. He was knocking down a bunch of
Wait, last game?
Bullock, no. This last game.
No, not Bullock. He was 0 for 10.
Thank you. Bullock didn't know. Bullock didn't
score. 0 for 10.
Huh. Yeah.
I got you, man. I'm looking at the box score right now.
And what about Spencer?
Spencer.
7 for 13, 4 for 10 from outside.
Yeah.
He had 26 points.
Yeah, he did pretty good.
Okay. He did good. And Brunson did good. So, Luka
Brunson showed up. Yeah.
Brunson, but Bullock There's another cat that he gives you like 10, 15. He wasn't there, man. None of the other players were there. And they're at home. That was really shocking to me. Real shocking.
Yeah, you're right. I don't understand what happened. I mean, part of it is they're just missing open shots, and usually that corrects itself in
True.
the when you play at home, because role players
True.
play better at home. But yeah, this is just bizarre. Finney Smith is like part of it.
I forgot. Yeah.
Part of it though, I don't like about this offensive scheme that Jason Kidd has drawn up is they remind me of the Houston Rockets, where it's just like one guy's driving, everyone else is shooting threes, and I'm thinking like the lane is wide open. Why aren't you attacking? Except for Brunson. Brunson is the only other person who really attacks.
Yeah.
And I just don't,
And he's aggressive with it too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but
he has a nice move.
And I just don't see why the other players aren't catching the ball, like particularly on a baseline in the corner, and attacking the baseline to make the defense react, because that's what they're doing. It's just like they're allowing. Okay, let me be fair. Dallas is actually getting open shots because their offense is working. They're not knocking down shots, period. And if you ain't knocking down shots, if you ain't knocking down a three, if that's what you want to live by, if you're not knocking it down, you're always going to be subject to comebacks, like game 2, or it's always going to be a close game like game 3, where then eventually where your legs start to get tired because you're tired of shooting threes and you have to go in there and play defense and go and chase it, because you're gonna have to. It's gonna be a long rebound, which means Warriors gonna get the rebound. They're gonna go in transition. Now you gotta go back and chase that and rinse and repeat. So yeah, I really wanna go over on this because I want to see a series, but. Yeah, you let game 3 go. Yeah, you might as well just go ahead and hang it up. Don't waste your time, Luka. Just retire. Just retire for the season. Come back next season. And
come back in shape, please.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
Just
he's a competitor.
Gonna come out firing.
I know.
Yeah, he can come out firing.
I know.
But
he wants to win. He gonna win. He wants to win one at least, man. Like I think he's gonna appreciate reaching to this level and winning one. And if he doesn't, that'll be his chip, and he'll want to come back and make sure he dominates next time.
Yeah.
So either way, he'd be good.
Yeah.
But Chris, I think. Oh, go ahead.
No. I just say I agree with that.
You see, he's someone in the head with J. Kidd, man, and the offensive side of the ball. So I read something today. Offensive usage, right? Luka's at 37, 38%.
Mm-hmm.
Teams that have a player that averages over 35% do freaking terrible in the playoffs, man. There's been 2 teams. Okay, wait. There's been 3 teams total to make it to a conference finals.
Philly?
Right?
Philly? Is Philly one?
No. Oh, so the cutoff was 35% usage rating.
Yeah.
Yeah, Philly's not one. There's only been 3 teams making it to the conference finals with a player that has the ball that much.
Steve Nash? Phoenix?
Nah.
I don't know.
Nah. All right, so why'd you say Philly?
Because Allen Iverson had to touch the ball every...
Oh, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I was thinking about this Philly.
Oh,
yeah.
I was thinking about this Philly too.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Embiid, yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
So Philly is one. Philly's one.
And then the reason I said Phoenix is because Steve Nash is just dribble the whole...
He does do a lot of that.
So...
Not Nash.
Yeah.
Some more.
So I'm trying to think who else just was... You can't say James Harden. They didn't make it to the conference finals. It was him?
Against the Warriors, yeah.
Bro.
Against the Warriors when Durant was injured. Right? So yeah, and then now the Mavs. So that's the record. All the other teams barely, if they make it to the playoffs, they don't get out of the second round.
Yeah. And I do agree with that sentiment, which is why I always say, you really need to rely on your bench. Your bench needs to be stronger than everyone else's bench. Even if you're mediocre, even if your margin of separation, degree of separation as a starter versus starter, isn't that far. Like your bench needs to be exceedingly better than your starter, than the other team's bench, and the reason is because you want to be able to play another fresh five, and they have to be productive when the starters are off the court. And the Warriors have, the Warriors, the Grizzlies. I want to say, I mean, even the Mavs. They've been sucking this series, but historically, it's been an 8-man rotation, dwindled down to a 7-man rotation, sometimes 6, depending on who it is. I think I've seen everyone on the Warriors play in the playoffs. Damian Lee has played.
Yes,
Kuminga's played. Beverley played. Everyone's played. Gary Payton would be playing too, but he's hurt. I mean, so same thing for the Grizzlies. When they were in there, they were throwing everybody at Conchar was playing. It was a 9-man rotation, and at the end of the day, yeah, they did come through, and the Warriors did come through because you guys do have Jordan Poole, and he's tremendous off the bench, and Otto Porter does knock down some key stuff. Like he has useful minutes. Nunu's again shining. He's the best. He's the best player off y'all bench right now. Which he should. He's been there for like 12 years, and so. Yeah, I mean, I think that really speaks to, again, the reflection, the usage rate that you're referring to.
And when you talk about the bench players, just look at the 1 through 8, right? Mavs top 3: Luka, Brunson, Dinwiddie. I think we could Dinwiddie with that 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Injured.
Golden State top 3: Steph. I'm talking about this Steph. And that's what makes Steph, Clay, Poole top 3.
Top 3 scorers, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So then you get after that. The next player up on the Mavs is either Bullock or Finney Smith.
Well, catch and shoot,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your number 4. Number 4, you can pick between Wiggins, right? Otto can. I don't want to put Otto 4, but Wiggins.
Yeah, you go Wiggins. Yeah.
Sure.
Wiggins compared to either Bullock or Finney Smith.
Yeah. And
then you get past, say it's Bullock, then you go to Finney Smith. And the next person out off, Looney is scoring in double digits, right? Kuminga could get hot, right? So the next player is up. Moody is playing solid minutes, like you said. Otto. The whole team is just better. Golden State has people that can ball. The Warriors have people. Mavs have people that can ball around Luka. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's basically the tale of the tape. Anything else I want to add on these Warriors, Mavs? I mean, I guess I'll see y'all in the finals.
Yeah, because I don't know. Yeah. Kid can't drastically change the offensive scheme. I don't know what they're gonna do.
I don't know either, man. So,
doesn't matter what they do. Doesn't matter what they do, man.
I guess that's a miracle. Maybe there's a miracle somewhere. There's that 1/10% where they defy the odds and make it a game 7 and it come out. But
every record is meant to be broken.
Exactly.
You talking about game 7? I'm trying to say they're barely gonna get it out of game 4. You talking about 7?
Yeah, I'm with you, Kev.
Yeah, so I don't know. I ain't putting no money on that. I'm not betting on that.
Of course.
So yeah, R.I.P. to Mavs. Maybe I'm putting them to bed too early, but
maybe
I'm a little confident that they're not going nowhere. On the other side of things, a little bit more spicy. I mean, there've been some blowouts though. The Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics, man. Look, right now it is tied. Heat were up 2-1. Game 4 happened, and Jason Tatum, he's starting to become supernova Tatum again. Like you see the gold hair, the spikes come out. You can see all that energy, the flare come off of him, man. You know what I'm saying? If you guys
he's going Super Saiyan.
If you guys know Dragon Ball Z, you know what I'm referencing. And so yeah, I mean, this guy has. Let me just say it like this: you can tell what was going to happen by the fact that it took 8 minutes. 8 minutes for Miami to score a field goal in the first quarter. They had 1 point for a long time. So
A free throw.
game got as far as probably like about 26 points spread. I think it settled on 20-point game at the end of the game. And let me see. I don't even know what the stats are for that, but it don't really matter because at the end of the day, it's 2-2. So
I mean, just to help you out, no Miami scored in double digits, like not a one.
Not a single person.
The closest one is Bam with 9.
Yeah. And Tatum had 31 points. So as you can tell, there's the best player on the court is wearing green, and there's been some injuries. You know, everyone's starting to get beat up in this, physical Eastern Conference, Eastern side of the NBA. And Smart didn't play. Tyler Hero didn't play. Tatum played. Butler played. But in the previous game, there was a shoulder injury from Tatum. And then I think there was an inflammation of the knee with Butler. So I will ask you this question here. Who is the most valuable player to lose from either side? Right, who's the most valuable player? Like, if this person goes down, it changes the tide of the whole series. It could be Tatum, it could be Smart, it could be Butler, it could be Hero. I didn't even think about Hero. Kev, who do you think is the most valuable player to lose?
I gotta go with Tatum on this one, even though I have this idea that, Braun will step up and try to fill some shoes with the offense. I mean, he's capable. I think he can do it, but I still think Tatum, man. Without Tatum, I don't see how they could get over the hump. Butler's a big hit for Heat as well too. So honestly, if either one of those guys goes, the other team is taking it hands down. Only reason I'm not calling no Smart, even though I would usually lean to someone like Smart, because I feel like he's that energy guy, like that Draymond of the Celtics, but better with respect to offensive ability.
Mm-hmm. He's a great actor.
Oh, let's not talk about that. Yo, man. I don't want to say I was losing respect, but something I was losing. Just watching him over and over do these different things, I just kept like, dude, stop it. Like, stop it. Like, doing that. Man, I don't know what's going on with the NBA these days on acting classes and trying to guard the fouls. Play the game.
He's out here like Eddie Murphy and Nutty Professor, man. He's doing all the roles, everything.
I'm gonna stick with Tatum on this one, man. I'm gonna stick with Tatum.
Okay.
I think if Butler goes down, he also will be on the bit. So it's a tie between those two. Yeah. I do think Celtics got more firepower to fill the gap, but he hasn't showed that. The Duncan Robinson, he was in double digits last game, but he hasn't really showed up as much. Tyler Hero hasn't showed up as much. So yeah, these guys need to these role players and these backup players need to come up and step up. And Lowry's been out, so I give him a break. But he also needs to, now that he's back, put something to the game. Tucker, what's going on with Tucker? Tucker used to be hitting those baseline threes, post up there, get those baseline threes. I'm not seeing anything from him.
Well, even in Houston, they used to run a lot of Tucker at center minutes. And they even did that in Milwaukee. I haven't seen that with Miami. I haven't seen Tucker at center minutes at all.
Yeah, it is what it is. Tatum is that dude, though. He's the best player on the court, I think. Even with Butler out there, he's a superstar on the rise.
Yeah. What about you, Mr. N1?
So Kev's right. So if you mind if I modify the question, I think the more interesting one, because Tatum. I mean, it's Tatum. The more interesting one, who's the second?
Okay.
Because I think we could agree Tatum's the best player on the floor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the more interesting one is number 2.
Okay.
Who's the second most, right? And you guys, I know you guys probably arguing against me on this one, but I think the proof's in the pudding, man. I think it's Hero. Because, all right, think about it. Miami has Strauss and they have Duncan to shoot the 3. Duncan is strictly, he's a watered down version of play. He'll run through the screens and he'll pick and pop right that three. Strauss has been showing that he can put the ball on the ground, make a move. Hero can work the pick and roll, and you have to respect his shot. Who else in the starting lineup shot do you have to respect? Butler. I love Jimmy. I love Jimmy buckets. But this dude had almost 40 points and shot 1 3. It's all in the paint with him, right? Bam is oddly been. He's kind of like Aiden. Like, you got the physical gifts, but he's not beating up the Celtics down low. It's weird. Lowry, 1 minute he'll have 12 shot attempts. The next game he'll have like 2. It just depends on how he's feeling the game. So to me, the pick and roll, which Miami runs quite often, it's always Hero's always involved.
Okay.
It might not show in the box score, but in the operation of the offense.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not going to respect anyone else that can put the ball on the floor and move. And so to me, it's Hero.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I disagree with both of you guys. Because at the end of the day, Tatum is the best player on the court. I would agree with you guys on that. But he's not the most valuable to lose. And the reason I say that he's not the most valuable to lose is because the Boston Celtics have the best defense since January 1st, 2022. They have been playing defense at an extremely efficient level.
Good.
We've seen so far that Al Horford had a 30-something point game in the last series. We've seen Jaylen Brown take over when Tatum goes down. We've seen Marcus Smart do Marcus Smart things, whether good or bad. Pitchers knocking down shots. Grant Williams is knocking down shots. Everyone's doing everything that they're supposed to do on paper. And, I mean, yes, Jason Tatum is doing what he's supposed to be doing. And also kind of like rising to the occasion. But I don't think if Tatum was to go down, that the ship will start to sink and the foundation will start to crumble. I think the foundation is already set. I would say actually that it is Butler, not because he's the best player he's not the best top 2 players. I think Jaylen Brown is better than Butler at this point. Like when it comes down to some things, and like you said Tyler Hero, but we understand that Tatum's number 1, who's number 2 is up. It's closer. It's a closer degree of separation, right? So Tyler Hero can get his shot off, and he can kind of create his own shot, and he has good ball handling skills, so that makes him very effective. I get you all that, and that's totally cool. I think Butler is the team identity, embodiment of the team identity, and I think if he's not there, I think it's left to PJ Tucker. It's left to Eric Spoelstra to try to keep that
galvanized,
keep that same energy. And he's not a powerhouse scorer. He's an efficient scorer. Sometimes he doesn't show up. He didn't show up this past game, and I really think the loss of Butler will basically spell doom for the Heat versus the loss of Tatum. They could probably still pull one out without Tatum. So
I agree with that. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, honestly.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah,
I view it as like if Golden State lost Draymond.
Yeah,
it's like the identity. Yeah,
exactly.
And Butler is everybody says Heat culture. That's Butler.
That's
man.
Butler. Yeah.
But I would hope I feel like it's more than just Butler, but I definitely feel like he's the man. But everybody just seems to have a little bit of a hard nose, and you got Haslam there in the locker room that's maintaining that flame. You know what I mean? So I like to think both of these teams have an identity that's so entrenched that you can always just say next man up. But even with that said, I don't disagree with what you just said. Even with that, I don't disagree that if they take Butler out of the equation, it's like air out the tire a little bit.
Yeah.
Kev, what if Haslam's the answer?
It could be.
Keeping that fire in the locker room.
It could be. It could be Haslam. Yo, the unsung here, number 42, as far as age, like the oldest player on the roster, and he ain't playing no games. He's just out here coaching. Bona fide assistant coach. So there was, I don't know if you guys remember in the season where the Heat started going on a losing streak, and I think they got on Butler because Butler was the one who was leading the apathy, I guess, like this apathy chart. Like they were just not, they were not engaged. They were just getting blown out. So
Yeah.
I just seen if he plays like like it's not important, the rest of the team follows suit. I don't know why. I don't know how.
Yeah.
But it's contagious. So, final question, man. Winner is most likely going to have to play the Golden State Warriors, and they're going to be well rested because they Mavs just basically just gave up. I don't know what's going on with them, and not Luka, but the other people. Anyways, so which team is will be the most competitive matchup? I didn't say your favorite. Will be the most competitive matchup.
I like how you changed that up.
For the Warriors. I'll give it to you, Kyle. Because I already know, like, you already got this figured out. So whoever it is you pick, whoever the opposite is.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, you said most competitive is going to be the Celtics. Because in the playoff run, we haven't faced a team with two dynamic two-way wings. And talking about Butler and Brown, and then you talk about we talked about Hartford, but we can't forget about Time Lord Williams. That would be the most. I'm not looking forward to seeing them. Yeah. So to answer your question, the Celtics.
Celtics. All right, we got one Celtics. Kev, who you got?
Same here, man. I feel like if we get Miami, like you mentioned, if Butler isn't in it, I've seen Miami go on these, like, I don't know, light and dark type things, or things just totally disappear. That's yeah. If we get that, I'm feeling more and more comfortable about the championship. So because of that feeling of just knowing that if we get Miami, I'll be like, yeah. How long? How many games? I'm counting down. With Celtics, I'm engaged. I'm watching. I'm concerned about their grittiness, but also their ability to get into the passing lanes and cut off passing lanes, which is something that we need. Something that we rely on, the ball movement and stuff. So if they're able to really like make that uncomfortable for us to get that rhythm, we could struggle. And going back to the same concern with Mavs turnovers, like that team is going to take advantage of all turnovers. They're going hard, and they have multiple people that can facilitate going down for those transitions. So I don't be worried about the Celtics on and off. But either one, we roasting either one.
Oh yeah, because we can handle the matchups, man. Because I'm thinking about it now. Tatum, Wiggs on Tatum, right? Clay on Brown, Curry on. Well, okay, let's say Smart starts. Draymond's probably be on Smart, so he can still roam, right? Who else they got? Looney on Hartford or Williams. Who am I missing? Oh, Grant. Oh, that's actually interesting.
Does Grant start? Grant don't start though, right?
I think Grant's a starter.
I think he's a starter. Yeah, he's a starter, I think.
So I'm trying to think, where do you put Steph?
If Robert Williams don't play, yeah.
Yeah, you put him on Grant.
Okay. Hey, I'm glad we all agree except for the conclusion, but that's par for the course. I'm glad that you guys agree that it's Boston. You know what I'm saying? Look, it's not even just
you
about.
think Boston's gonna put us out?
I mean, I thought the match was gonna put you out. So
there you go. So you best update.
I'm consistent. You
gotta update this. New evidence. Hey, new evidence.
That's fine. And yes.
Okay.
And the new evidence shows that Boston again is the number one defensive team after 2021 has ended. They have continued to be defensively sound. We've seen them knock off really good teams. And again, that's not an easy route that they went through. And
facts.
They're young. the TD Garden is rambunctious. So you know, like it's going to be hard to win at both locations. Like this is Miami. Look, they don't even show up on time. Miami fans don't even show up on time. I'm not worried about it. Like if the finals showed up, the fans would be late. Be like, oh, I guess I'll go down there and I got a ticket. Might as well go. I don't want that. I want people who are going to be invested. They're going to be camped out at night. Like that's what I want to see. And the reason I want to see that is because everyone's invested. That means everyone's passionate. That means everyone's going to be going extra hard. And it's gonna be both sides. It's not gonna be just one side. I don't want to see a blowout. You know me. I don't like blowouts. Blowouts are horrible. Yeah. So I want to see a really classic Game 7. And I mean, this is a chance for everyone to solidify their legacy. You know what I'm saying? Most of these people are new. I mean, obviously Steph and Clay and Dre are already battle tested and stuff. But
yeah,
you know, it's a chance to see, you know, some younger stars really, you know, basically show their mettle. You know what I'm saying? So
Andre coming back for the championship.
Okay. All right. I think at that point it's time to wrap it up because someone's starting to become senile. So yeah, and then Boston in I don't know 4. Boston in 4. Anyways, let's move on to sign offs. Let's move on to sign offs because yeah, you know, let's keep it short and sweet. So Kev, man, you got something?
Short and sweet. Yeah, short and sweet, man. Still got love for Pat Bev. Luka, you'll be all right. Warriors all the way. We cooking. We roasting. I appreciate what the young boys are doing over there in C-Town. But come get this whooping, please. I invite you.
Wow, respectfully. All right.
Respectfully, yes, very, very, very respectfully.
Okay, all right. Put some hot sauce on my burrito, baby. All right, Mr. N1.
Yeah, I mean, I echo everything Kev says, man, because you know, the Bay Area, you show green out there, it's getting snatched. What they call it, bipping? Your car get bipped? I forgot that phrase.
I don't know.
When they break into your car, take your stuff. Hey, listen, if it's green, it's getting snatched. That's 2 Chainz. Remember, he got his chain snatched out there in the Bay, man. So, Celtics win. They losing in the championship, man. They're losing. Cool fact. Losing to a team that's in the top 5 of NBA history and playoff wins. Top 5, bruh. That's what people say, not bruh. That's what the youngsters say. The Warriors just claimed they've been claiming the number 5 spot as far as playoff games won.
All right.
That's interesting.
I didn't know we was.
That's over the past 7 years or so that they.
Yeah, because they sucked up.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
That's quick.
All right.
202.
All right.
I'm sorry, 201. 201 wins, man. 201.
We're celebrating 5th spots now. Okay, cool. Anything else?
We're celebrating top 5. We're celebrating top 5. Don't get it twisted now.
The 5th
We
spot.
all talk about top 5. We all talk about top 5. What's your top 5?
Thank you.
That's a phrase. What's your top 5? That's a phrase.
There's only 30 teams in the NBA, so.
Hey, you are a pro at picking up the negatives. So I'm gonna let you have it.
I'm not.
Thanks,
I'm gonna let you have it.
I did. I just said, yo, I didn't know. I just didn't know that that's what we was gonna, claim accolades for. But go for it. You know, I'm not telling. Hey, celebrate you. Whatever makes you happy. Celebrate.
I don't understand.
People don't
this.
celebrate enough. You should go ahead and celebrate. You should celebrate every day. It's all good.
We don't celebrate top 5s anymore.
I'm just. I mean, top 5 out of like 1,000, 5,000. Yeah, great. Top 5 out of like 30. I mean, I guess.
No, it's not 30, Chris. It's 30 over the multiplication of the years that you have the playoffs.
But there's only 30 teams. There's only 30 teams.
No, you can't look at it that way. Each of those teams had a different run every year. If you look at it as a blanket 30 teams, then okay. But every franchise has had the opportunity to draft and build their franchise in a way where they get to the playoffs and win wins.
And
Warriors have, in the past 7 years, put whatever they have done together and apparently just
Annihilated people.
Just annihilated whatever thing was going on and rose to the top. Like, we all expected Lakers, we all expected Celtics, but we only know who else is in there. So this is kind of cool
one and
for
two.
me.
That's the Lakers are one.
Shout out to San Antonio Spurs who did it first.
The Celtics 392, 76ers, and the Spurs are right ahead of us.
Thank you. Like I said, shout out to San Antonio Spurs who did it first.
Did what first? Anyway, let's keep it moving.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know what he's talking about.
Who got to whatever arbitrary number that put them in this conversation, right? So I just know they did it first. So
I think it's a good conversation to be in.
It's a great one.
Franchise,
Yeah.
I would love for my franchise to be in that conversation.
It's a conversation to be in. Yes, it's a conversation to be in. So anyways, thank you guys. Thanks for everyone who's rocked with us today. Pat Bev, get you some help. Therapy is valuable.
The dude needs glasses.
Valuable. I just said valuable.
Dude needs glasses.
Man, he don't need anything, man. He need himself. He's on his path. He's growing. They carry him all this on the balls.
I understand. Hey, but we like it, man. It gives us something to talk about. So I definitely appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone who has rocked with us today. Again, if you like it, man, feel free to subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, tell a friend. If you're on the audio side, again, hit the like button, hit the follow button on the respective podcast, get the 5 stars on the Apple Podcast. Again, pass it along to a friend. It's free. You know what I mean? So, like I said, we're here every Tuesday. So until next Tuesday, guys, I'll see y'all on the flip side, man. Deuces.
Hater Chris Bayless.